welcome to Real and Raw. It is Wednesday, September 20th, and we've got our elderberries here that were frozen. I did not put them in bags. I put them back in the bowl in the freezer, and that's okay. So they're thawing out, and now what I need to do is get these elderberries in water so we can have them soak for a while, and we can kind of identify what does not stay at the bottom. So anything that floats is what we want to remove. So that's what I'm going to do. So first things first, you want to make sure that you are dressed in old clothes, because these elderberries stain, and I'm sure you could kind of tell from what I was wiping up on my previous video. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, dress in old clothes, and then I'm going to put an apron on. The other thing, which I think I already told you, but you want to make sure you've got gloves for sure, because that is going to be messy. So anything you can do to reduce stains on your countertops, on yourself, your fingers, do it. It's worth it. Just pick up some gloves. These are just called vinyl gloves. Some people have to be careful what kind of gloves they put on. And so these are the ones that we use, because they don't have that powder in them. So, all right, I'm going to put one on each hand. It is almost afternoon, and Andy and I have been talking through the things that we have going on from our garden. We also just kind of getting back into the groove of preserving, getting things. This is a busy time of the year, and it's okay. It's fun, because we know that holidays are coming, and we want to make sure that we, have as many things in our fridge and ready that is fresh, and that is, something that doesn't have toxins in it, or ingredients that some of the retailers might put in the food. And so, yeah, we want to get as much farm to table as possible. So what I'm going to do is just have a clean bowl here. I'm just going to go ahead and add in my frozen elderberries. And you can see that they have a beautiful color, but there are those elderberries that are green, and the stems as well. So you want to have those removed. And so some of the methods that I've seen is just simply putting them in water, letting them soak, and whatever doesn't, I probably should take that out. Whatever doesn't rise is good. So whatever floats at the top, you need to remove and get. There you have it. You want to remove, and you want to get them out of there and just leave the fresh elderberries. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some water. Just regular filtered water to my elderberries. Okay, so we've got our water added, and we're just going to go ahead and let that sit. Obviously, these berries are also going to thaw out since they came from the freezer, but then once everything kind of rises to the top that needs to. Matter of fact, I'm going to add more water. And I can go ahead and see what I need to skim off. So we'll be back after this sits for a while. I'll time it, and I'll put it on the video as far as how long I had to wait. And so I'm going to go ahead and set my timer now. Okay. And we'll be back. An hour, a little over an hour, and hopefully you can see. I'm going to pull this down. You can see all of these you can see all of these berries that are floating on the top. So like I said, the ones that we want to use are at the bottom, and all of these that are at the top we need to get rid of. We need to skim off. So that's what I'm going to do. What you're going to notice is these ones on the top are typically the green ones. Stems. And anything that's just not right. I'm going to go ahead and transfer everything back into my kitchen so we can get started. Finish washing these off. You want to go ahead and you want to wash them. Give them like 2 good rinses, and just do this process where you are getting out the bad berries and anything else. So I'm going to repeat this after I go upstairs, and we'll go ahead and get started on our processing of the berries and getting them ready for some homemade elderberry syrup. Okay, so we went ahead and we transferred up our elderberries, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them another good rinse. Removed a lot of those berries that floated to the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour the elderberries into my strainer. Rinse right into the strainer. Don't worry about if you weren't able to get out all of the berries or the stems. That's okay, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to strain them again right into a cheesecloth. And remove more of these floating berries. And don't worry about if you see, all this juice in here that you're losing the juice, because you're going to get plenty from what you make. Okay, so I've given it a second rinse, removed all of the floaters, and I'm just going to go ahead and strain that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let those strain a little bit, remove some of the stems. We do not want the stems, but they, again, they'll come out in the process when we put them in the cheesecloth. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and let them strain a little bit, and then I'm going to put them in the tea towel and get them dried off as best as I can so I can put them in my bags and use them throughout the winter if I need to. But I am going to make some elderberry syrup, at least to start for the season. Okay, now that those are strained, I'm going to go ahead and let them dry by pouring them into this tea towel, just kind of spreading them out. Just letting them dry on there. Beautiful color. I don't know if you can see that. The sun is coming in the window and they just look amazing, the color of them. So I'm going to go ahead and spread them out a little bit and let them dry so I can put them into baggies, mark them as washed and ready to go for making jelly and syrup and different things throughout the colder season. All right, so I'm gonna let those dry. You can see them. Hopefully you can see the color. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. So rich. You can even see the color on my tea towel here. That purple. It's beautiful. All right, let them dry, and then we're going to go ahead and put them in the baggies and move forward with making our elderberry syrup. Okay. Look at that color. It's beautiful. All right, so what we were able to yield, just getting the rest of this in here. And by the way, when you put your elderberries in a baggie, fold it over. That it avoids, you know, any type of issues when you're closing it back up. Okay, so we went ahead and we added all of the elderberries into the bags. We've got about a cup here. And we've got 7.3 ounces here. So a little over a cup and a half of elderberries. When you do put them in the bag, fold it over because that reduces, you know, having to, you know, accidentally get it on your hands or whatever. So I went ahead and put them in here so I can store them later. And I'm going to go ahead and use this bag here for making my elderberry syrup. So, you know, these berries have a ton of antioxidants and vitamin C. So they have a whole gamut of other vitamins as well. So we planted 2 elderberry bushes, and our harvest gave us over 2 cups or a cup and a half of elderberries, and you know, I'm excited about that. This is just our second year of doing this, and we had to go out of town, so maybe we would have gotten more, but this is plenty to get us through the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the freezer and get these going so we can make our elderberry syrup. Okay, We went ahead and got the elderberries prepped. I've got some other ingredients here, and we are ready to make our elderberry syrup. Okay, we are ready to make our elderberry syrup. And we've got our ingredients here. That's pretty simple. We're just going to go ahead and make a small amount of elderberry syrup for now with what I just cleaned up and showed you the process of. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so we only need a few things to make this syrup. First, we've got our cinnamon sticks. We've got whole cloves. Where are my whole cloves? There they are. Got my whole cloves. I've got some local raw honey. And then I also have my distilled water. So about 2 cups of that. I also grated some fresh ginger. Got some cinnamon sticks here. And of course, my elderberries. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And what I want to do first is add my elderberries, which is about a half a cup. And then I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of water. Like I said, distilled water. I'm going to go ahead and add my fresh ginger. And I'm going to add 1 cinnamon stick. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. So what I want to do is I want to have this on medium to high heat. And I'm going to go ahead and let this come to a rolling boil. And once that comes to a boil, I'll go ahead and turn it down to simmer. And leave that on for about 30 minutes. And then we'll check back. Okay, and we also don't want to forget our cloves. Put about 5 in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this boil. I'm going to go ahead and put it on for 30 minutes. And we will check back. Okay. I've got this to a nice boil, steamy boil. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to simmer. And you can see that that has really reduced the liquid. Don't worry about that because you're going to get plenty of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on simmer and set the timer again, which by the way, it only took about, I don't know, 15 minutes to get it to boil like that because I don't have much. So you just kind of judge how much, you want to leave it on there boiling. But just get it to the point where it's boiling and steaming, and that should be perfect. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set my timer for 30 minutes. Yep. Got it on simmer, which is the lowest setting, and that's going to sit there for 30 minutes. Okay, so while this is simmering, what you want to do is you want to just go ahead and mash your berries. Just use like a potato masher and just get that mashed up while it is reducing still in this simmer stage. Okay, so I am done letting this simmer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to transfer all of this into, and by the way, throughout this process, I was using this potato masher and just making sure that my berries, you can kind of still hearing them crunch. Just kind of, you know, stirring it up and making sure that I am smashing down my berries. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to transfer this over into a strainer that I also put cheesecloth on. So I'm going to set up my camera so you can see better and I can use both my hands. Okay, since I only have one hand, and it's better because you can kind of see close up, I'm going to go ahead and pour this into my cheesecloth that is over, pour this whole thing. I'm going to pour this in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of let that strain into a pot that is underneath there, as well as another strainer, just to make sure that I've gotten everything out because I used fresh berries. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally smash down these berries with my spatula to get the juice out of there. I'll take that cinnamon stick out, but to get the juice out of there, and like I said, give it this extra straining method to ensure that I don't get any stems or unhealthy berries. So I'm going to continue to do this and then move on to the next step. Okay, you can see that I have smashed down the berries. I'm going to continue to do this just to get as much juice as I can. I'm just literally applying pressure and getting them down there. Then what's nice is you can lift up your cheesecloth and get the juice out of there as well. Okay, I had to take my glove off because I couldn't get the phone back on. All right, so as I continue to smash these down and get as much elderberry juice into the pot, you use the best method that you feel works for you, depending on how many you're making. This is probably a lot to do just for a small amount, but I'm learning all different ways of doing it. And so some people, after they put it in the cheesecloth, which I thought was a really good idea, is they take it and then they squeeze it to get even more juice out of. See that? Wow, that does work. So you're getting even more juice because you're squeezing the berries through the cheesecloth. So try and get as much as you can. Yeah, that definitely works. And then you can save this pulp from the elderberries and make muffins. Some people, use it for all different things. Just do some research on that. But I did see that you can save this pulp. So that's what I'm going to do. Got that over here. Okay. Now, because this is such a mess, I'm going to go ahead and remove my strainer. And this is what I yielded as far as the juice. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my gloves off and continue on to the next step. Okay. So now we have everything strained out. Our syrup, or our elderberry juice is what it is right now. Looks amazing. The color is beautiful. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add my honey. So I've got a cup of honey here. And my honey actually crystallized in the cabinet. So I'm going to turn my heat back on. If you have the same issue, you know, just turn it back on and stir it around and get that to mix in with the juice in a better consistency if you turn the heat back on. So, okay, so I put a cup of honey in there. Again, you want to make sure that you're using raw honey, your local raw honey. Okay, I'm going to turn that back on. I'm going to put it on a probably like a medium to low heat. And I'm probably going to just whisk it in there. I got to find my whisk. There it is. And just kind of get that stirred in there. So I'm going to stir it with the whisk. While it's warming up. Now once this cools down, after it's all mixed together and it cools down, you can go ahead and start taking it. You know, the benefits of elderberry syrup are amazing. Especially, you know, it's September. So in preparation of the cold and flu season, I'm getting a head start. And then I've got my frozen elderberries, so I can make some more if I need to. But this is just, you know, in case something hits us, we've got it ready to go. Oh, that smells amazing. You know, you also can make elderberry tea as well. So you can just, you know, do your own research on that, but I believe you can put like a tablespoon of this syrup in hot water and make yourself some fresh elderberry tea. Whatever works for you. This is just nice to have on hand. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let this cool now that it's all mixed together. Hopefully you can see that. Turn it off. Yeah. Now I'm going to let that cool and then transfer it over to my jar. Okay, so this has cooled down. We are done with our syrup. Not only is this syrup beneficial, but this is a huge boost to your immune system. And it's going to reduce the length of time if you do happen to get something. So take it as a preventative, but then you can also take it as a treatment. So that's what we got, and that's okay. I'm all right with that because I've got more in the freezer if I need to. Take that later. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it another strain over my mason jar. It's just absolutely beautiful, and it smells amazing in here. So just to give it an extra strain of anything that's left over, like stems or pieces that I don't want in there. That's why I have this mini strainer. Under my funnel. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour the rest in there. And I will say that I only got a little spot on my floor that came right up because I noticed it and got it right up. So I was excited about that. So again, what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and keep this in your refrigerator. Oh, it looks amazing. Keep this in your refrigerator, and you can go ahead and you can, start taking it now. It's already cooled down as a preventative. Do your research on how much you want to take. But yeah, I'm very excited to have this, and I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on it. And what did we get? What is that? Yeah, 10 ounces of elderberry juice, elderberry syrup. So what I'll do is probably learn how to make some other things with the elderberry. But I thank you for watching, and
doesn't that color
go ahead and label
amazing?
it up. I'm going to make sure I put my label on there. So there we go.
Homemade.
So what you want to do, elderberry, after you make your syrup, is you want to go ahead and keep that lid on there, store it in the refrigerator. It should stay in there and last for a few months. So if you keep the lid on it, the honey acts as a natural preservative. So what I like to do is just store things in the refrigerator, make sure you put a label on them, and do your own research, like I said, on exactly what you want to give to your family, give to the kids, because it just kind of depends on what their tolerance is of taking something with honey. And so what I have researched is you can take like a teaspoon a day for a preventative for an adult, and children should do like a half a teaspoonful. And what this is going to do, like I said, it's going to prevent cold and flu, and it's going to give your system a boost, an immune boost. So it's going to really benefit everybody in the family, because obviously if one's sick, the others might get it. So why not be preventative? All right. Well, thank you for watching.